Legislative Day number 9 will now come to order. Please rise for a moment of silent meditation. I will now call upon Councilman Catch, who will lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Is there a motion to approve the journal for the meeting of April 15, 2019?
I'll move it.
Moved. I'll second it.
It's been motion second. All in favor?
Aye.
Journal's approved. Bills 8-19, 9-19, and 10-19 were passed by the council, signed by the executive, and are hereby enrolled. Mr. Secretary, will you now read all bills for introduction, please?
Yes, Mr. Chair. Bill 24-19, Executive Direction. Bill 25-19, Senior Assisted Living Group Home Subsidy. Bill 26-19, Senior Care Program. Bill 27-19, Vulnerable Elderly Programs Initiative Program. Bill 28-19, Summer Program and Community Arts Development. And Bill 29-19, tea rooms or restaurants in the RC4 zones.
Council will now consider all bills for final reading and vote. Mr. Secretary, first bill, please.
First bill is Bill 11-19, Older Workers Demonstration Grant.
And I think we have Mr. Will Anderson here, great Cadensville citizen.
Never gets old.
And good evening, Mr. Anderson.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, members of the council. Bill 1119 is a supplemental appropriation. We're requesting of federal funds of $231,475. This is our Older Workers Demonstration Grant that we were awarded through the state. This is a pilot program that we're working on to take 28 low-income, unemployed seniors in our community through an innovative jobs program and get them placed in a very specific need area in administrative assistance, particularly in our healthcare industry. We've already started the program because it's got a very tight window, and with this appropriation we will finish the work by September of this year. Thank you.
All right. Any questions or comments for Mr. Anderson? All right, Mr. Secretary, please call the roll on Bill 11-19.
Mr. Quirk?
Aye.
Mr. Patoka?
Aye.
Mr. Catch?
Aye.
Mr. Jones?
Aye.
Mr. Marks?
Aye.
Mrs. Bevins?
Aye.
Mr. Crandall?
Aye.
Bill 11-19 is passed.
Thank you.
Mr. Anderson. Mr. Secretary, next bill, please.
Bill 12-19, sponsored by the entire council, 2019 Basic Services Maps.
And I know we have 3 amendments. Why don't we do the amendments, then we'll go into questions and comments after the amendments, if that's okay with all the members? All right, good. Mr. Secretary, please read the first amendment to Bill 12-19.
The first amendment is sponsored by Councilwoman Bevins in your books. This would amend the 2019 Basic Services Transportation Map to actually exclude an area that is within or that had been drawn in the Ebenezer Road and Pulaski Highway commuter shed. It would exclude an area of land that is also attached as Exhibit A with the amendment in your books. It's actually hard to describe because there are no roads or other easily identifiable boundaries other than the property itself. So we have inserted the amendment using the meets and bounds of the property as described in the rather lengthy page of the amendment.
And are there any questions or comments for Councilwoman Bevins? Is there a motion to approve this first amendment to Bill 12-19?
I'll move it.
I'll second it.
Been motioned and seconded. Mr. Secretary, please call the roll on this first amendment to Bill 12-19.
Mrs. Bevins?
Aye.
Mr. Jones?
Aye.
Mr. Quirk?
Aye.
Mr. Crandall?
Aye.
Mr. Marks?
Aye.
Mr. Catch?
Aye.
Mr. Patoka?
Aye.
The amendment passes. Mr. Secretary, let's do the second amendment, please, to Bill 12-19.
The second amendment is sponsored by Councilman Marks, and this would also add an amendment to the 2019 Basic Services Transportation Map and would insert language that indicates when the Department of Public Works conducts new traffic studies, the triangular intersections of Bel Air Road and Jerusalem Road, Bel Air Road and Bradshaw Road / Sunshine Avenue, and Jerusalem Road and Bradshaw Road be studied simultaneously when area private and public schools are in session.
And are there any questions or comments for Councilman Marks?
We heard testimony from one of the residents of the Kingsville area about this chronically congested intersection, and I would simply urge the Department of Public Works to take a renewed look at this intersection, and when we do the investigations, do it when the neighboring schools are in session.
Any other questions or comments? Is there a motion to approve the second amendment?
So moved.
Second.
It's been motioned second. Mr. Secretary, please call the roll on the second amendment to Bill 12-19.
Mr. Marks?
Aye.
Mrs. Bevins?
Aye.
Mr. Quirk?
Aye.
Mr. Patoka?
Aye.
Mr. Crandall?
Aye.
Mr. Jones?
Aye.
Mr. Catch?
Aye.
The amendment passes. And Mr. Secretary, let's do the third amendment, please.
The third amendment in your books, Mr. Chairman, is sponsored by Councilman Catch. This amendment would also make an amendment to the 2019 Basic Services Transportation Map with the following amendments. The intersection of Harford Road and East Joppa Road would be determined to be a level of service of F, and the intersection, or rather Padonia Road and Deer Cove Road / Beaver Dam Road at a 600-foot radius from the center of the intersection would be designated a level of service F.
Any questions or comments on this amendment? Is there a motion to approve this amendment?
Yes.
It's been motioned and I'll second it. Mr. Secretary, please call the roll on this third amendment, please.
Mr. Catch?
Yes.
Mr. Quirk?
Aye.
Mr. Patoka?
Aye.
Mr. Jones?
Aye.
Mr. Marks?
Aye.
Mrs. Bevins?
Aye.
Mr. Crandall?
Aye.
And this third amendment does pass. Now, before we vote, are there any questions or comments on the bill as the amendments have passed? Any other questions or comments on the bill as amended? Is there a motion to approve Bill 12-19 as amended 3 times?
Motion.
I'll move it. Oh, second.
There's been a motion and second. Mr. Secretary, please call the roll on Bill 12-19 as amended.
Mr. Patoka?
Aye.
Mrs. Bevins?
Aye.
Mr. Quirk?
Aye.
Mr. Catch?
Aye.
Mr. Jones?
Aye.
Mr. Marks?
Aye.
Mr. Crandall?
Aye.
Bill 12-19 as amended is passed. Mr. Secretary, next bill, please.
Bill 13-19 is sponsored by Councilman Marks. Zoning regulations, tattoo or body piercing establishments.
And are there questions or comments from the members? Councilman Marks?
Sure. You may recall that last spring the council passed legislation that allowed for a tattoo business art gallery to be open within a certain area of downtown Towson. At the request of one of the major community organizations, this legislation modifies the actual construction of how this will be done.
And any questions or comments for Councilman Marks? All right. Mr. Secretary, call the roll.
Mr. Marks?
Aye.
Mr. Quirk?
Aye.
Mr. Patoka?
Aye.
Mr. Crandall?
Aye.
Mrs. Bevins?
Aye.
Mr. Jones?
Aye.
Mr. Catch?
Aye.
Bill 13-19 is passed. And I know Bill 14-19 was withdrawn.
That's correct.
All righty. The council will now consider all fiscal matters. Extensive testimony was taken at the council's work session on April 30th, 2019. The witnesses who testified at the work session are available to restate their testimony if needed. If a council member has any questions regarding a particular fiscal matter, that item will be discussed as a separate matter. I will now call upon the Secretary to read the cover letter for fiscal matters 1 through 3.
Mr. Chair, fiscal matter 1 is a contract with Korn Ferry U.S. For actuary consulting services. Fiscal matter 2 is an amendment to a contract with Bolton Partners Incorporated, employee benefit consulting services. And fiscal matter 3 is an amendment to contract with Transdev Services Incorporated for non-emergency medical transportation ambulatory services.
And are there any questions or comments from the members on fiscal matters 1, 2, or 3? Hearing none, is there a motion to approve fiscal matters 1 through 3?
Motion.
So moved.
Second.
There's been a motion and second. Mr. Secretary, please call the roll on fiscal matters 1 through 3.
Mr. Quirk?
Aye.
Mr. Patoka?
Aye.
Mr. Catch?
Aye.
Mr. Jones?
Aye.
Mr. Marks?
Aye.
Mrs. Bevins?
Aye.
Mr. Crandall?
Aye.
Fiscal matters 1 through 3 are approved. We will now consider miscellaneous business. Mr. Secretary, first item, please.
Mr. Chairman, whenever a contract over $25,000 is awarded by a process other than by formal competitive bid, it is required that a copy of the contract be given to the county council and the nature and parties to the contract be announced by the secretary at the next legislative session following the award. There is one such contract this evening with Franklin Miller Incorporated for grinder Taskmaster duplex for Dundalk Pump Station in the amount of $59,300.
Mr. Secretary, next item, please.
Next is Resolution 51-19, Loan Modification, Woodlawn Apartments Limited Partnership, RF Woodlawn Apartments, LLC.
And I know we have Mr. Jeff Mayhew here to speak. Good evening, Mr. Mayhew.
This is a loan modification for a senior affordable housing unit in Woodlawn. As part of this loan modification, the new property owners will renovate the 101 units in the complex. So we ask that you pass this resolution to allow that to go forward.
And why don't we do the amendment, then we'll go to questions and comments after the amendment, if that's okay? All right. Mr. Secretary, please read this amendment to Resolution 51-19.
Certainly. The amendment, the resolution refers to the renovations for the property located, according to the resolution as written in Lansdowne, Baltimore County, Maryland. Actually, it is located in Gwynn Oak, so the resolution just seeks this technical amendment to strike Lansdowne and substitute Gwynn Oak.
And I'll move the amendment. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Been motion and second. Mr. Secretary, please call the roll on the amendment to the Resolution 51-19.
Mr. Quirk?
Aye.
Mrs. Bevins?
Aye.
Mr. Crandall?
Aye.
Mr. Patoka?
Aye.
Mr. Catch?
Aye.
Mr. Jones?
Aye.
The amendment passes.
I never voted.
Councilman Marks? Councilman Marks
Tom,
said aye,
I never
too.
voted. Aye.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yes.
Well, the amendment still passes. All righty. Why don't we take any questions or comments? Any questions or comments? Councilman Jones?
No, I guess wanted to thank the administration. By modifying this loan, it will result in an increase in the quality of life for the citizens that live there at the Woodlawn Senior Complex, and I know they're looking forward to the renovation. So thank you.
Any other questions or comments? All right. Is there a motion to approve Resolution 51-19 as amended? I'll move it.
Move it.
It's been motioned and second. Mr. Secretary, please call the roll on Resolution 51-19 as amended.
Mr. Quirk?
Aye.
Mr. Catch?
Aye.
Mr. Marks?
Aye.
Mrs. Bevins?
Aye.
Mr. Crandall?
Aye.
Mr. Jones?
Aye.
Mr. Patoka?
Aye.
Resolution 51-19 is passed as amended. Mr. Secretary, next item, please.
Next is Resolution 52-19. This is sponsored by Councilman Jones. This is a resolution to authorize the refund of property taxes paid by Pete F. Dorso, who is entitled to a refund by virtue of being a disabled veteran.
It's my privilege to move that resolution.
Second.
Been motioned and second. Mr. Secretary, please call the roll on Resolution 52-19.
Mr. Jones?
Aye.
Mr. Quirk?
Aye.
Mr. Patoka?
Aye.
Mr. Catch?
Aye.
Mr. Marks?
Aye.
Mrs. Bevins?
Aye.
Mr. Crandall?
Aye.
Resolution 52-19 is passed. Mr. Secretary, next item, please.
Resolution 53-19 is sponsored by Mr. Crandall. This is also a property tax refund resolution authorizing a refund to Edwin W. Brushmiller, Jr., who is entitled to such a refund by virtue of being a disabled veteran.
It's my honor to move the resolution.
I'll second.
All right, motion and second. Mr. Secretary, please call the roll on Resolution 53-19.
Mr. Crandall?
Aye.
Mr. Jones?
Aye.
Mr. Marks?
Aye.
Mrs. Bevins?
Aye.
Mr. Catch?
Aye.
Mr. Patoka?
Aye.
Mr. Quirk?
Aye. Resolution 53-19 is passed. Mr. Secretary, next item, please.
Resolution 54-19 is sponsored by Councilman Patoka. This is a resolution authorizing the refund of property taxes paid by John P. Merson, who is entitled to a refund under state law.
It's my honor to move this motion.
Second.
Been motion second. Mr. Secretary, please call a roll on Resolution 54-19.
Mr. Patoka?
Aye.
Mr. Catch?
Aye.
Mr. Jones?
Aye.
Mr. Quirk?
Aye.
Mr. Marks?
Aye.
Mrs. Bevins?
Aye.
Mr. Crandall?
Aye.
Resolution 54-19 is passed. Mr. Secretary, next item, please.
Next is Resolution 55-19, sponsored by Councilman Quirk. This is a resolution authorizing the refund of property taxes paid by Antoine Boyette, who is entitled to a refund as a disabled veteran under state law.
I will certainly move it. Is there a second?
Second.
I'll second.
Mr. Secretary, please call the roll on Resolution 55-19.
Mr. Quirk?
Aye.
Mrs. Bevins?
Aye.
Mr. Jones?
Aye.
Mr. Marks?
Aye.
Mr. Crandall?
Aye.
Mr. Patoka?
Aye.
Mr. Catch?
Aye.
Resolution 55-19 is passed. Mr. Secretary, next item, please.
Next is Resolution 56-19, sponsored by Councilman Patoka. This is a resolution to authorize the refund of property taxes paid by Santi M. Ortiz, who is entitled to a refund under state law as a disabled veteran.
It's my honor to move this motion.
Second.
Been motion and second. Mr. Secretary, please call the roll on Resolution 56-19.
Mr. Patoka?
Aye.
Mr. Catch?
Aye.
Mr. Quirk?
Aye.
Mr. Crandall?
Aye.
Mrs. Bevins?
Aye.
Mr. Marks?
Aye.
Mr. Jones?
Aye.
Resolution 56-19 is passed. Mr. Secretary, next item, please.
Next is the council's consideration of the nomination by the county executive of C. Peter Gutwald to be the next director of the Department of Planning.
Thank you, Mr. Secretary. And we did have all these appointments come up and speak on work session. Do any of the members want to call up any of the appointments again, or is everybody good with just voting to appoint?
I'm good. I'm good, but I would like to make a comment.
On each of them, or on?
Planning.
On
The
plan.
plan.
Okay. Well, why don't we do that? We'll, Councilman Patoka.
Sure. I just want to say that I support Mr. Gutwald in moving forward. I want to say that he's extremely lucky as the new planning director for Baltimore County because he's inheriting such an outstanding staff. He's incredibly lucky to have Jeff Mayhew as a partner. Jeff is an outstanding planner. He's highly regarded throughout the state and among his peers, among the people that have worked with him. So, Pete, I think you're really lucky to have Jeff at your side, and I wish you well.
Councilman Marks.
Thank you. I want to echo those comments. Mr. Gutwald brings a lot of experience to this position. Mr. Gutwald rewrote Harford County's 25-year-old zoning code, also completed Harford County's first master plan for bicycle and pedestrian access, and has served both parties, which I think is very commendable, and we're glad to be getting some bipartisan leadership in the county executive's cabinet. So thank you very much for your service. Look forward to working with you.
Other questions or comments from the council? I mean, I would just echo the comments as well, and just, of course, again, like we talked earlier, arts and entertainment, Pataska Heritage Greenway, and help with CZMP. I mean, I think we end up Bike and Pedestrian Advisory Group. So you have full plate, full plate. Is there a motion to approve this appointment?
So moved. Second.
Second.
It's been a motion and second. Mr. Secretary, please call the roll on the appointment.
Mr. Quirk?
Aye.
Mr. Patoka?
Aye.
Mr. Catch?
Aye.
Mr. Jones?
Aye.
Mr. Marks?
Aye.
Mrs. Bevins?
Aye.
Mr. Crandall?
Aye.
The appointment is confirmed. Congratulations, Mr. Gutwald. Mr. Secretary, next item, please.
Next is the council's consideration for appointment and confirmation of the county executive's nomination of Joanne Rund to be the next chief of the Baltimore County Fire Department.
And are there any questions or comments? Councilman Jones.
I'd just like to welcome Chief Rung to the Baltimore County Fire Department. She comes highly recommended and very capable. So I look forward to working with her.
Any other comments? I would just echo Councilman Jones' sentiment. We have a wonderful fire department. I mean, I can't say enough good about every day what the fire department does for everyday citizens. And so we do look forward to working with the new chief. Any other questions or comments?
Just that the fire department looks really nice tonight.
They
in their
do.
dress
That's all right,
clothes.
all dressed up, all dressed up. All righty, well, I will move the appointment.
And I'll second.
Been a motion and a second. Mr. Secretary, please call the roll on the appointment.
Mr. Quirk?
Aye.
Mr. Catch?
Aye.
Mr. Patoka?
Aye.
Mr. Crandall?
Aye.
Mrs. Bevins?
Aye.
Mr. Marks?
Aye.
Mr. Jones?
Aye.
The appointment is now confirmed. Congratulations, Chief. Mr. Secretary, next item, please.
Next is the appointment recommended by the county executive of Edward Blades to be the next acting director of the Office of Budget and Finance for the council's consideration and confirmation.
Any questions or comments in regard to Mr. Edward Blades? Councilman Jones?
Yeah, I guess want to congratulate Mr. Blades for being acting director. I think he has the skills, the background, the experience to be the director, and I hope at some point if he becomes the permanent director of the Department of Budget and Finance. Thank you.
Any other questions or comments? Any questions? Councilwoman Bevins?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'll vouch for that young man.
Any other questions or comments?
Being the council member that's known him the longest, I would like to
that's right.
move this nomination.
There's been a motion, and I'll second it.
I want to second him. I'm known I'm the second longest.
Okay, triple. Is there a triple?
Erase that, Mr. Pettiford.
Yeah, so there's been a motion and second, and we look forward to working, of course, with Mr. Blades. Mr. Secretary, please call the roll on the appointment.
Mr. Catch?
Aye.
Mrs. Bevins?
Aye.
Mr. Quirk?
Aye.
Mr. Marks?
Aye.
Mr. Jones?
Aye.
Mr. Crandall?
Aye.
Mr. Patoka?
Aye.
And the appointment is now officially confirmed. Congratulations, Mr. Blades. All righty, Mr. Secretary, next item, please.
Next is the council's consideration of the nomination by the county executive of David V. Likens to be the next director of the Department of Environmental Protection and Sustainability for the council's confirmation.
And are there any questions or comments from the council? Councilman Marks?
Mr. Likens has always been a true professional. He has great expertise in this area. He is someone who returns phone calls personally,
Amen to that.
which is great. And I'm honored to be his council representative. I think he's going to do a great job as our permanent director.
Councilwoman Bevins?
In your district? I didn't know he lived in your district. Yes, I'd like to welcome you, Mr. Likens. You've been with the agency for a long time, and you've been very impressive to date, and I know that we're going to be able to count on you, so I welcome you early.
Other questions or comments from the council? I mean, I'd say, Mr. Likens, many of us feel that you've been helping run this department for a long, long time, and I think we all really view you as incredibly fair and helpful, and so is there a motion to approve the appointment?
So moved. Second.
A motion and easy second. Mr. Secretary, please call the roll on the appointment.
Mr. Jones?
Aye.
Mr. Quirk?
Aye.
Mrs. Bevins?
Aye.
Mr. Catch?
Aye.
Mr. Patoka?
Aye.
Mr. Crandall?
Aye.
Mr. Marks?
Aye.
And this appointment is also officially confirmed. Congratulations, Mr. Likens. All right, Mr. Secretary, next item, please.
There is no further business, Mr. Chair.
And no further business to come before the council. Is there a motion to adjourn the meeting?
I'll move that.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Meeting is adjourned. As is customary, anyone who signed up prior to the meeting with the secretary is allowed 3 minutes to speak. And Mr. Secretary, are there any other speakers signed up for this evening?
There are 2 speakers, Mr. Chair.
All righty.
Sorry, I called you.
All right, so each speaker is up to 3 minutes, and our first speaker is Brent Howard, followed by Troy Williams. And Mr. Howard, if you want to come on up to the podium. And good evening, Mr. Howard.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'm coming to make comments on the proposed wireless tax bill, Bill 3119. We believe this new tax will have a negative impact on small businesses here in Baltimore County by increasing their tax burden in general. Baltimore County small businesses with 25 employees using wireless cell phones will pay over $1,000 per year in new wireless taxes. In addition to the proposed county tax, the Maryland General Assembly has already passed legislation that will double the state 911 fee charge. This fee based a per line basis rather than the current per bill basis, and allow counties to double their 911 fees. If this bill is signed by the governor and the allowance of increases are improved, customers would pay an extra $84 per year for new 911 fees. This would increase the total tax bill from $166 per year today to $418 per year for a family of 4 with 4 lines. For these reasons, we ask the council to recommend changes to the proposed bill to lessen the impact on small businesses and consumers in Baltimore County. Those are my comments. Thank you.
Great. Thank you, Mr. Howard. Any questions or comments? I appreciate you coming in.
Thank you.
And then our final speaker for this evening is Mr. Troy Williams. And good evening, Mr. Williams.
Good evening. I wanted to speak about Bill 2319, which is a provision to increase the development impact surcharge on new construction for $10,000. I'm a 20-year resident of Baltimore County, a realtor of 16 years, and I'm also a real estate investor. And I think that up to $10,000 would have a negative impact on consumers and on investors and builders as well. I wanted to just speak on a couple of points. Specifically, I think that the beginning of that bill describes that capital improvements and construction of new schools is the purpose. I don't think that new home buyers should shoulder that burden alone. I think that there's plenty of room in the housing market to extract that when homes are sold. So, for example, a $300,000 house that's sold is already going to generate approximately $7,000 of revenue to the county through the transfer tax, and it's also going to create a sustainable revenue stream through annual property tax. I think that in terms of the amount of the fee, it's a substantial percentage when you look at the profit that an investor or a builder would absorb. For example, a $300,000 house may yield a $40,000 profit. Once you factor in construction costs, et cetera. And I think $10,000 would be up to 25% of that profit. So I think it actually stifles new home construction. And then also, I wanted to suggest also a solution. I know a lot of people come with ideas of things they don't like and they don't have the solution. I did some basic calculations based upon the March 2019 U.S. Census. 11.7% of residential home sales were new construction. I don't have the data for Baltimore County, but if we assume it's somewhere around that range, then you can actually tax a lower percentage per house of all homes sold rather than focusing on new construction. So in using the 11.7% number, I actually looked at the possibility of increasing the county recordation tax from $5 per thousand to $7.50 per thousand. If you did that, you would, for every 100 homes sold, you would generate an additional $61,000 in revenue, and you would also be able to take away the exemption of the first $22,000. Every home that's sold has an exemption which generates $330 that could be generated. So for every 100 homes, that would be $33,000 additional dollars. If you add the 33 and the 61, you would get $94,000, and that's actually slightly more than $10,000 per new home. So
Great.
that's,
Mr. Williams, I really appreciate you taking the time to come in and
all right, thank you.
present. And one thing before we do leave for this evening, I know we did have a former council secretary that recently passed away. Mr. Bostwick, you want to mention?
That's correct, Mr. Chair. Mr. Tom Toporovich, who was the unofficial mayor of Dundalk, I believe he was referred to. He was council secretary from the early 70s up until 1991, when the legend Tom Petticord took over to be legislative council secretary. And Mr. Toporovich, from what I understand, I never really met him, but he had a very illustrious career in county service, both under executives and the county council from the 60s up until the 90s. So he had about a 4-decade career in county government, which should be recognized.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Bostwick. In no coincidence, all council secretaries have to be named Tom.
That's
for some
correct.
reason. But I didn't know Mr. Toporovich, but I've heard many positive, wonderful things. And so to his family, our thoughts and our prayers are with his family. Any council members have anything else to say before we all? Councilman Patoka.
Yes, I'd just like to acknowledge a member of the resident of the 2nd District who represents the Republican Central Committee. Ruth Getz is here today. So hello, Ruth. Thanks for joining us.
All righty. Anything else from any of the members? Well, I did again want to really congratulate our new fire chief and our new directors and acting director. I think Baltimore County is really, really lucky to have these fine people serve the county and serve the public. And with that, I do wish everybody a very safe drive home, and thank you all so much for coming out.